Hello, hello, welcome back to Callie's in the Kitchen. I have been MIA for a while. So today I'm going to do a repeat of this project where I've used this tray that I got on Amazon. And it was so well liked by folks. I thought I'd do it again and maybe get a different effect or similar effect at the end. So the first thing I'm going to do is line the center, hopefully center, of my mold with some crushed glass. And I'm really finding that with resin, crushed glass is really good instead of glitter, unless you really thicken your glitter before you pour it into your mold or into your piece. I've got so much of glitter packets that I don't know what to do with them, but I might have to pull it out and maybe mix it with my crushed glass. So this crushed glass is Ashland from Michaels. It's a seasonal product, and different times of year they sell different colors. So I hope you don't mind a repeat because I didn't do a video on this one. So now that I've done that, I've kind of centered it as much as I can. I will let my resin sit for a bit and we will go to the next step. So what I did is I mixed my resin, which is a 1-to-1 resin by Nick Pro, and I let it sit for a while. It's 32 degrees Celsius or centigrade, whichever one is the correct term. And now I'm just layering my mold. I'm not sure how much to, I think I'll just pour it and then I'll take a peek sliding down when I slide down on my side here and see if it's covering the crushed glass. And then I'm going to make sure I have maybe at least 40 grams of resin left to use for my white. So this is, I forgot to mention, it's going to be a 3D bloom takeoff. So let's see. So that looks about, well, it could take a little bit more, and I'm not going to put a top coat because I'm actually going to be drawing to the edges. So I'm just going to layer some more, but momentarily while that settles, I'm going to measure out 40 grams of resin for my white. And today I'm going to use the Bloom pigment paste created and distributed by Miss Julie Cutts of Pouring Your Heart Out. So give me a second to get my white ready. So I poured out 40 grams that I'm going to put the bloom in. I've got a little bit left over, so I am just going to finish it off. So one of the reasons, if you're interested, why I've been MIA, missing in action, is because for the last 2 weeks, I've had 9 family members visit from all over to celebrate my sweet mother's 92nd birthday. So I've been really busy. I've tried to do a few pours in between because I was getting withdrawals, but I just didn't have time to videotape. And it was so noisy in the house, but a nice noisy. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm going to use my smaller torch because I'm used to it now more than my other torch that's a little bit bigger, which I'll show you momentarily. I used to use that, but now I'm used to this smaller one here. I used to use this size one. I still use it, but I like this smaller one. I have more control. So I'm just gonna pick out any goobers or move some bubbles out. You know, I know we're not supposed to have bubbles, but I can't help it. There's still some left. So, okay. Now, I've been using Octopus alcohol inks for doing my resin, and sometimes I find it doesn't spread very well. So today I'm going to go back to my Let's Resin alcohol ink brand. They seem to spread a little bit better. Hopefully I don't jinx myself by saying that. But let me push this one down first. It's kind of coming up, probably because it's a light glitter. So I'm going to start in the center. Oop, oop, oop. It's coming out really fast. Whoa. Okay. Let's see how that spreads. And what I learned from Miss Julie is that you want to pour your alcohol inks into your resin, if you're going to do a 3D bloom, that is. Pour your alcohol inks and let it sort of settle for a bit before you do your piping or your drawing of your 3D bloom. So let's go for red next. Trying to do a little variation of the color scheme I did before. Then I will do purple. Whoopsie daisy, it's just pouring out. Let's see, I was going to put blue on the end, on the other end, but since there's this, well, what I'm going to do is actually put in a little bit more red in between here, because it looked like it didn't spread. I don't know if I can control the amount of ink to put in, but that's what I'll do. What shall I do? What shall I do? What shall I do? So just for giggles, I'm actually going to put this Ranger Alcohol Pearl on the edge to kind of bring in what was in the center. I'm just going to fill all the empty spaces. Oopsie. Getting that little ball in there is kind of blocking it. This pearl has a nice sheen to it, and it's a little different than that other sort of orange in the center there. So I'm going to let that settle, and while that settles, I'm going to take the temperature of my resin, because I want it to get to at least 35 before I pipe. So I have this nice laser thingamajig, and it sometimes is accurate and sometimes not. Maybe I had to calibrate it, I don't know. So I do both. I use that, and then I use my little cooking thermometer, both that I got from Amazon. So let's see what my temperature is on this. It's 33, 35, no, sorry, 34. Okay, cool beans. So now I'm going to put in my drops of the Bloom pigment paste. Let me see if I can do it carefully here. And I know it's 1 drop per 10 grams of resin. So, and you squeeze slightly, and as the ink comes to the bottom, you just let go, because you don't want to make too big of a squeeze or squeeze too hard and have too much paste. So that's done. I'm going to do it here, and I can see and feel that my resin is getting warm and is getting thick. Ooh, yeah, it's getting warm, which is good, which is what it's supposed to do. So I'm moving my stuff to the side. I don't know if that'll film well, but I'm going to mix my Bloom pigment paste in here really, really well. I, do the sides, slide the sides. Yeah, try saying that fast. Okay, doke. Now I'm going to place my mixture into my piping bag. And maybe 40 grams is going to be too much, but better have more than less is my lesson that I have learned. Okie doke. I'm going to let that settle in there for a second before I take it out and tie my little knot. I wish I could use the piping bag without tying a knot at the end, but I feel really nervous to do that. I feel like it might fall out on the other end, but that's just me. Okay. I'm just letting that settle in. Also to kind of get it warmed up a bit more too. Okay, so I've got it in there. This also gives time for this ink to sort of spread. Now I see a little spot over there. I could put some more ink in there, but you know what? I'm not. I'm going to be a good girl and just leave it alone. So here I tighten my piping bag. Tie my knot, and I'm going to decide how wide of a hole to cut on this end. So I might go to that. Not too, I don't know if you, I hope you can see it. It's not too wide, not too narrow. And I'm going to test it. Okay, that looks good. And here I go on my Loopy Loops. Boy, I haven't done this in a long time. I'm going to go really slow. I'm holding my breath and I'm holding my voice. Or I'm afraid to talk, so just bear with me. Whoops, went to the edge of the mold there on that one. So as I do the loops, I'm trying to do it so that the loop hole is rather wide versus skinny or narrow. Let me put it that way. So I've got to concentrate. This is really different for me. And as I'm piping, I'm also adjusting the pressure in the piping bag so that I get as even as possible. And obviously you can see some sections are not even. It's for me, it's very difficult to do. Oops, that one closed. If you don't mind, I'll just keep quiet so I can concentrate on my loopy loops. I'm going to end it there. I'm going to go back up here because I missed a loopy loop, so I'm going to do somewhat of a loopy loop there. Now, I really hope I didn't make these lines too thin. They look pretty thin. I still have some more, which is too kind of sad that I wasted it, but oh well. So maybe next time I might do 30 grams. Okay, so now the fun part. I'm going to draw in some petals. Once again, I'm holding my breath. And I'm not doing it in any sort of formula or technique. I'm just sort of seeing where I feel like I want to draw in the petals. And as you see, I'm trying to wipe as I go. And I think I like the idea of doing one end and then coming to the opposite and coming in on the opposite end, from the opposite side. So that was that. So let me come here. And then come here. Come here. Come here. And then come here. I think I'm going to come here. And come here. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to do some more this time. Because last time I didn't do as many of these lines coming in, but this time I want to try to see what it would look like if I put a whole bunch more of these lines coming in. Get another paper towel. Whoops. Let's see here. Is there one here? Yep. I don't know if I'm ruining my pattern by doing so many of these, but I want to do that same technique I did before, or that piece, but just a little different. you know, so let me do this on in the center part. Let's see if it makes any difference. And you know what? That's it. Voila. Take my torch. It sure looks pretty here. I'm going to do one more here. Just saw it. Should I not? Should I not? I'm just going to make this more defined. Maybe I'll just do it from the outside, coming into just a little bit of the center. Man, that sure looks pretty. But I have no idea, as we all know, what the other side's going to look like. Okay, so I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to do my final torching, and then I will close it for it to cure, and we'll demold tomorrow. Please wish me luck. Oh, resin gods, please give me a good turnout. I'm just going to still sort of break up these thick areas that I see here. I don't know what it'll do, and hopefully if it's bad that what I'm doing, at least maybe the glitter will sort of camouflage it. But that looks really cool. And I'm kind of glad I put yellow on the outside too. So let's hope, and I will see you for the demolding. Alrighty, it's the next day, so let's hope it turned out. It's a little bendy, so I've got my gloves and my bowl ready to mold it into this bowl if it turns out. So let's see. The first one turned out really prettily, completely different colors. So let's hope, I hope this one turns out. So I'm not gonna show you the reveal yet. Okay, got it out. Okay, are we ready? Ding, 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 ding. Ooh, not too bad. Looks like the center, well, it's kind of cool looking. I hope you think it's pretty. So there it is again. So since it's a little bendy, I will put it in my bowl to shape, and it can be different than my first one. So even though there are blobbies in this center of this one, it's still kind of pretty. So what I do usually is I do this, and then I'm just gonna push it in. I need to be a little taller of a person so I can get into it a little bit more. So that I don't bore you too much, what I'm going to do when I'm done with this is I'll put a sheet of plastic, and then I'm going to find another big bowl to put on top to pressure it. And then what I'll do is when it's done, on my Facebook page, I will show the final shaped bowl. So thank you so much for watching. See you again.